Today, we will practice how to use text evidence to answer questions about the text. We will use the selection Gary the Dreamer. Going back to the sequence chart that we made before, we know that Gary likes to play with his friends and eat fruits and seeds to his brother. In kindergarten, Gary learned his colors, how to tie his shoelace, and how to be nice. We also learned that in first grade, he practiced writing the alphabet. In second grade, he collected money for the children of Africa. In third grade, he is a good reader and is still a dreamer. Lastly, he became an author of books for children and grown-ups. For today, we will go back to some section of the text to fill out this graphic organizer and answer the question, how is knowing what Gary did as a child important to understand his autobiography? So we will reread the first paragraph on page 13 of the text. It says here, I didn't have many toys. My army men were pinto beans and pebbles. I played with them in the dirt. I got dirty from playing hard. It seemed like a giant pepper shaker had sprinkled me with dust. Going back to this graphic organizer, it's looking for text evidences which shows how Gary plays with his toys. It says here in the first paragraph of page 13 that his army men were pinto beans and pebbles. Let me highlight that. I'm going to put that in our graphic organizer. That evidence is telling me how he plays when he was still a child. He used pinto beans and pebbles as army men. We know that pinto beans and pebbles are actually not army men, but he is imagining these things to be army men. So what does it tell us about Gary? I think it's only proving that Gary is a dreamer. We can also say that playing with pebbles and pinto beans as armament makes him imaginative. So we could say that he likes to imagine. Now let's focus on this text evidence and what it tells about Gary to answer the question. How is knowing what Gary did as a child important to understanding his autobiography? We will use this sentence frame to answer the question. As you can see, I added a section in the text for the evidence. So I know Gary's childhood is important because it shows that. Okay, so it's telling me to put what it tells about Gary. So it shows that Gary is a dreamer. Or if you don't want to put this one, maybe you could use that Gary likes to imagine. Now, in the text, what is the evidence that I could use to support the idea that he is a dreamer or he likes to imagine? I already took it from the text earlier, so all I have to do is just to type it in here. In the text, used pinto beans and pebbles as army men. There you go. So in this activity, we learned how to answer this question